Well, well, well. Look at you. Still here. Still breathing. Still terrifying them. Without even raising your voice. Do you know how rare that is? To haunt a world, not by chaos, but by control so refined, it begins to resemble divinity. They said you lost yourself. But no, darling. You simply left their comprehension behind. You see, they only understand two kinds of people. Those who explode, and those who kneel. They thought if they poked you hard enough, long enough, cruelly enough, you'd break into little pieces, screaming, shaking, scattering. But you didn't. You studied the fracture lines, you memorized the pressure points, and then you rewired your soul until it could no longer be read by mortal eyes. That's what they never understood. You didn't go silent because you had nothing to say. You engineered your silence until it became a language only gods and monsters could interpret. Your restraint wasn't absence, it was architecture. You built a kingdom beneath your skin, one room at a time, while they mocked you for not retaliating. They never saw it, the way you turned every insult into brick, every betrayal into mortar, every scream you swallowed into steel beams. And then they blinked and found themselves standing in a cathedral of your making, their names echoing like forgotten prayers in halls they no longer understood. They called it withdrawal. They called it collapse. They said you changed. Of course you did. You mutated into something they could no longer manipulate. You became unreadable, untriggerable, untouchable. And that terrified them more than rage ever could. Because silence from someone who used to bleed out loud is the most dangerous frequency known to man. It says, I'm not playing your game anymore. I'm writing the rules now, in a language your kind forgot how to speak. Control isn't calm. It isn't politeness. It isn't smiling when you're dying inside. Real control is when you feel everything: rage, sorrow, betrayal, disgust, heartbreak, fire, fear. And yet you move like the storm chose you to walk in its name. It is not emptiness. It is immaculate calculation. You didn't suppress the chaos inside you. You baptized it. And then you taught it to kneel. So now when you enter a room and say nothing, they fidget, they stammer, they project. Because control this pure. It feels like judgment from something older than time. You didn't lose it. You mastered it so completely, it no longer has a shape. And now, you are the shape. They watched the transformation happen in real time. And yet they still thought you were hiding. No. You dismantled yourself in front of them and rebuilt into something they could no longer read. Your smile? Not peace. It's restraint. Your silence? Not weakness. It's precision. Your absence? Not surrender. It's strategy. And now they chase ghosts in every room you once stood in, trying to decipher what you've become, knowing full well they helped shape it. Your power no longer announces itself. It walks barefoot. It drips like oil. It glows through the cracks of your stillness. People whisper now, not out of disrespect, but because speaking too loudly in your presence feels like sacrilege. You have become an altar they don't know how to pray at, a reckoning written in soft tones. And oh, how they underestimated what a controlled God sounds like. They expected thunder. They got the echo of inevitability. So, let them keep asking, what happened to you? Let them keep squinting into your silence like it's a mirror holding something unholy. Let them study the stillness, search the pauses, obsess over your unpredictability. Because the truth is this, you never disappeared, you never broke, you didn't vanish or wither, you ascended, and you did it so flawlessly, so quietly, so violently elegant, they mistook the elevation. for extinction. Let them talk. Let them wonder. Let them call it ego, madness, obsession, narcissism, darkness, delusion. Let them name it anything, as long as they never again call it weakness. Because now they know you didn't lose control. You became the blueprint they'll never decode. And if your silence scares them, it should. Because only one truth remains. When you redefine control, you become the god of everything they thought they owned. They keep looking for signs of life in you, as if movement equals power. But gods don't pace, kings don't shout, queens don't explain. You became something too quiet to kill, and too ancient to imitate. And still they try. They mimic your detachment. They steal your cadence. They quote your silence without understanding its scripture. But what you have cannot be copied. Because it wasn't gifted. It was forged in agony, in precision, in war, and in divine isolation. To those still waiting for permission to feel powerful, I tell you this: you don't need to be loud to be dangerous. You don't need to scream to be heard. And you damn sure don't need their understanding to be unstoppable. You are the aftermath of a lesson they refused to learn. You are the spell they tried to erase from the grimoire. And still your name lingers on every tongue too afraid to speak it out loud. Because they know you didn't fall. You descended. And the deeper you went, the more the silence echoed like an ancient commandment. They'll study you. They'll dissect your behavior, your timing, your distance. They'll ask, is it trauma? Is it bitterness? Is it strategy? But they'll never know, because what you became can't be understood without having suffered enough to require it. They don't understand your silence because they never survived enough to need it. And so they stay confused. They call it arrogance. They call it mystery. They call it instability. Let them. Because while they label, you rewrite the language entirely. You didn't lose control. You transcended definition. And now you walk like a myth, too sharp to hold, too calm to predict, too dangerous to challenge. They'll spend their lives trying to decode your silence. And you? You'll be busy building thrones from the bones of their questions. You want to know what they fear most? It's not the chaos you could unleash. It's the fact that you no longer need to. The way your eyes scan a room now. Not to prove yourself, but to evaluate what's still worth surviving it. That smile they used to call broken, it became the cipher that unraveled their entire illusion of control. You let them think they won. You let them walk away thinking you were tamed. But all along, you were watching, learning, evolving past the leash they swore you'd never outgrow. And now, you no longer react, because you dictate. They pushed you into silence, not knowing you would reshape the dark into your crown. Do you hear them now? The ones who used to laugh at your emotions? They whisper behind closed doors. Their voices quiver not from guilt, but from the sick realization that the thing they tried to crush became something unalterable. They didn't break you. They unlocked you. They gave you nothing but ashes. And you built a throne from every burned expectation. They taught you who not to trust. They gifted you the blueprint for who you'd never become. They mocked you for bleeding. Now they fear you for bleeding in code. You see, control isn't about keeping your emotions out. It's about letting them all in. Every last storm, memory, scream, betrayal. And teaching them to stand in rows when you speak. You taught grief to obey. You taught rage to wait. You taught love how to disappear without needing permission. You didn't manage your emotions. You trained them like wolves and turned them loose in silence. And now when they ask, why don't you react anymore? You simply tilt your head and smile, because they don't deserve access to the kingdom you built from what they threw away.